I'm curious, how do you, at this point in chapter in your life, what caused you to start focusing on habits as something that can help people live a better life? I mean, you could talk about anything, but you decided to talk about habits. Why habits,
Yeah.
and how did that become important?
So it's kind of interesting because we're talking about, which habit to implement. And sometimes I get asked that, what habit should I do? And so kind of the first caution story is, habits became more wildly popular after Atomic Habits by James Clear, New York Times bestselling book. And he does an incredible job of really communicating well about this concept of habits. But if you've read the book, in the introduction, he tells this tragic story. He's a senior in high school, and he is on the baseball team. And at a baseball practice, he accidentally gets hit in the face with a baseball bat. And I mean, it's just a tragic, horrific medical thing. He's in a coma. And as he's coming out of that, he has to start developing habits to heal physically as well as kind of mentally and emotionally. And he goes on to become a college baseball player as well. And so
Wow.
as I start talking about habits and starting a habits podcast and all of these things, it would be kind of silly and ridiculous to say, oh, well, the first thing I got to do in order to make this really work is get hit in the face with a baseball bat. And I mean, I could have done it because I got a son who played baseball all the way through high school. And there's times he probably would have been happy to oblige. But he was also a bodybuilder and won a bodybuilding competition out of high school. And so it might have killed me. But that's the challenge is that oftentimes we look at other people's habits or life experiences and say, I got to match mine exactly to theirs. Well, not really. So that's my first caution is, as I talk about the habits that I participate in, the things that have worked for me and really why they work. The key is to identify the patterns and process more than the exact habit. Oh, this person does this. And so I'm going to do it too, which is interesting because some habits I have picked up because of that, kind of saying, oh, somebody else does this and it's successful, I'm going to give it a try. But yeah. So to answer your specific question of kind of how I got in this, my experience is not like James Clear. I call his a light switch moment where, you're going along and every, life is bright and sunny. And then all of a sudden, bam, it's not anymore. And it's not just that. I've talked with many people who, whether it's a car accident or the end of a significant relationship or a health crisis or the job loss, a lot of people will go from bright light to darkness. Mine was not like that. I think of mine more as like a sunset where I can't tell you the exact date at which it was dark. In a sunset, at what minute is it officially now dark? Last minute, it was only, it was still kind of light, but now it's officially dark. Well, that's kind of how life for me went, was just this gradual move into darkness. And it wasn't every aspect of my life. Got a good job, nice house, good family. We drive nice cars. There are so many aspects where, okay, I can check the box and say, that's good, that's good, that's good. But there was also this crazy thing happening where every single morning I would wake up and just think, I do not want to live through today. I just don't want to do today. And, it's like, I don't want to do today because, but when you looked around, it was like, oh, you don't want to interact with your great family. You don't want to go to your nice job. You don't live in your nice house.
Yeah.
It's like, but I don't know what, for some reason I had gotten into a place of darkness. And that's when I decided, okay, it wasn't an instantaneous thing that got me there. And it's not going to be an instantaneous thing that gets me out. You mentioned it's not one day of meditation. It's not, going to the gym once. You kind of float down the river sometimes into a state where you just look around and say, I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah. Well, it's kind of climbing the cliff or climbing the ladder to get back up to the rim of the canyon where you can say, now I can see and feel the light. And as you do, it starts to get lighter and lighter and lighter. So for me, it was just that one morning of just saying, man, I don't want to live today. And then thinking, I'm not spending my whole life feeling like this. I'm going to start making some changes. And so I started implementing some habits specifically designed for happiness that would help me turn that around and turn around other aspects of my life.